Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Geelong Zone. We are here to preview the AFL finals. Four massive games this week. And of course, I've got my guest, Scott Tompkins. Finally got his name right. After a couple of weeks ago, I spelled it with a P. No P there, but got your name right. Scott, thank you for joining us for a second time. Really do appreciate you coming on the show.
No, thank you. Thank you very much for having me back in the Geelong Zone, Lucas. I really appreciate it, mate. It does mean a lot. And, if I want to have some high-level intellectual discussions when it comes to footy, you've always got to come straight to the Geelong supporters. But what? I'm not being facetious, but glad to be here, mate. And while my season's ended, at least you get to enjoy at least the next 2 weeks minimum.
Well, I was hoping that you'd come on and you would talk about Carlton in the finals, but that can't happen, can it? You have to be in there to have that conversation. But no, we will talk. Since I've got you here, we do want to talk a bit about Carlton because there's things going on. A player that I'm interested in coming to Geelong. No, not Jack Silvani. But no, I appreciate you coming, especially when a Geelong supporter lives outside of Victoria. It is very, very hard for me to get access to the finals in Melbourne, but I get gathered around once a year. So it is what it is. Right, we'll go straight into it. Of course, Carlton, since you're on, I do want to speak about Carlton. Carlton not playing finals, a lot of movement around players not getting contracts, players that want out. We'll start with Charlie Curnow, the big one. He said that he does want an exit, though he hasn't nominated any club. He did say that he wants an exit at the club. As a Geelong fan, I made a video on this. I'm saying I would love Charlie Curnow at Geelong. We would love a third tall. I would trade him for Shannon Neale. That's what I said. I did a video on that. Because Geelong's motto is we're here to win now, we don't do rebuilds. Shannon Neale would be a long-term prospect, but Charlie Curnow would fit Geelong's motto of winning it now. Where do you sit with the Charlie Curnow trade?
Look,
or want him to
now the deal with Charlie Curnow, right, is that it's not that he's requested a trade, and he definitely cannot nominate a club to go to. He's contracted until 2029. He's a much needed player at the Carlton Football Club. But in saying that, if we were to ever consider letting Charlie go, it would have to be for the right price, of course. I mean, all the powers in our court. Now, he's a needed player in any club, to say that. But I appreciate the offer of Shannon Neale, but he would probably have to be steak knives in such a deal like that. We'd be coming for probably Holmes, Myers, just even to get us at the table, probably. But I appreciate your Geelong level offer, Lucas. But no, I mean the main club that he's kind of linked to at the moment would be Sydney. The reports came out today that he'd met with Dean Cox on his way to his holiday. Hope your knee doesn't blow out while you're riding your bike over there or anything, Charlie. But but then you also have interest from Gold Coast, which from all reports really are probably the more willing or more serious about considering that trade. Sydney, much like your club, we would have very specific players. The main one, Goulden, that would have to be put up before even considering it. But to bring it back to Geelong, of course, if anyone was paying attention at the start of the year, Geelong was circling around Curnow back around round 3, round 4, because that's when the original reports of him being kind of upset with the club came about. He'd had 2 knee surgeries and an ankle surgery over the previous off season, and was brought in Controversially, I'd say early in round 2 after our shocking loss to Richmond, whether that was him putting his hand up to say, look, I need to be there, whether that was the medico saying, look, he's all good to go, or he was kind of forced back early. Apparently his family and his management weren't too happy about that, but nobody could really predict Charlie Curnow coming back and getting what I think 2 touches and 0 goals for the whole game at that point. But that's when Geelong was allegedly first sniffing around, and we all know how Geelong operates. If they want somebody, they're not exactly going to come out and say it. They just get who they want eventually. Even with Bailey Smith, even before he'd done his ACL, it was everyone knew, but they were never going to say it until he was wearing the hoops, basically. Yeah. But no, the thing with Charlie though, it's it is building momentum. Look, I've been through enough this year when it comes to players not signing or not happy or considering changing club, and kind of the direction has been set by Jacob Wedding already. He said, you don't want to be here, then bugger off, basically. And if Charlie, if he's going to kick up a stink next year, well, he's potentially tanked his value anyway. If a deal can get done that could satisfy us, I'm open to it. I think that's completely reasonable. But anybody who wants him would have to be paying serious overs. For a player of Curnow's caliber and his contract status, I mean, come on, we can't just take the piss out of Carlton, mate.
Yeah, Shadu made a good point.
Oh, hello, Shadu.
He made a good point. You know, what players would want to go to Carlton? It's all good Geelong saying, look, this is hypothetically, yeah, you can have Holmes, you can have Smith, but if they don't want to go there, then the trade's not going to happen. So you also need players to attract to Gold Coast. You know, as you said, you want, you know, top players. You want Gordon from Sydney. Golden, you know, when he returned back from injury, he was very crucial to Sydney's play. You know, they started winning games. So will a player of that caliber come to Carlton knowing that they're a I'm being probably kind here, a mid-table club?
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. Some people don't quite agree with me when I say that Carlton, believe it or not, is still a destination club. Dan Gorringe actually today, he kind of put it perfectly. It might be a final destination club, but we're still a big four. There are certainly the perks of coming to play to Carlton, and kind of the spot that we're in. Like, yes, we kind of were in this vague premiership window the last couple of years, and it was, look, nothing aligned this year, and it's probably the worst state that we have been in the last 20 odd years, all things considered. But look, there are a lot of perks to coming to the Blues that aren't just financial or long-term career-wise moves. But players like Golden, I mean, it's no secret that he's a Carlton tragic growing up. Up until he went to the Swans, I mean, he bled for our club in his own little way that we all have. And one of the appeals at a club like Carlton is, look, wouldn't you want to be part of that squad, whether it's on the actual playing list or in the executive, that actually turned this club around? I mean, to say that your name would go down in history, that is that's putting it lightly. But yeah, it's a professional sporting environment, and look, as much as there have been hostage situations in the past, we have to take things seriously when a name like Charlie Curnow is involved. Yeah. And like the great Peter V has just said, guaranteed playing in front of 60,000 minimum every week.
Yeah. Moving on from Charlie Curnow, there's another player that I was kind of surprised by this. Michael Voss told Elijah Hollands he could find another club elsewhere. That actually really surprised me, because I know Hollands has been injured of late, came back. What are your thoughts about that? I thought he was okay. But
I don't want to seem patronizing or anything, Lucas, or maybe I'm stuck in my own little Carlton bubble here, or maybe you're living under your little Geelong rock. But the whole situation about Elijah Hollins. I can't believe. Are you aware of what's been going on this year? Why he hasn't been playing?
I don't follow Carlton, Scotty. That's why I got you on the show, mate, to talk about Carlton. Educate me. Educate me.
Look, everything's alleged, but basically, there is off-field issues with Elijah Hollins of the nature. If you knew how he got his way to Carlton, you could probably put two and two together. When he left Gold Coast, he was charged with cocaine possession. Basically got a slap in the wrist for that, but that's how we got him on board. We saw a young fella who was in trouble, whose brother was already doing quite well and at the club, and thought, look, he's an incredible talent who is an X factor, and from the time that we've seen him at Carlton has proven that. But has seemingly struggled with the off-field nature of footy, and also just being a young man in modern Australian society and being able to marry those two up. But from all reports, he's probably fucked up, not just the one time, but multiple times. And the time that he spent away from senior footy, if you were to pay attention, is matched up with exactly 12 weeks from when he took his last break to coming back in the last couple of weeks to play VFL. But he was at his exit meeting. He was informed, look, we're open. You're allowed to explore your options at other clubs. And that can be taken to mean several things. Like, look, things haven't really worked out for you this year. Look at other places. Or it could be a kick up the arse to say, look at where your options are, mate, because there are none. This is where your last lifeline, and this is your last chance, because he's still contracted till the end of 26. And the latest updates that I've been across, the Hollins boys, they are from South Australia. If there were two clubs to take him, it would probably be Port and Adelaide. And if we want to talk about names in Carlton, Zach Butters is one that not just floated around Prince's Park, but if you're one of the in the nose here, Lucas, I could potentially see Elijah Hollins as a very, very shiny and sharp set of steak knives in a potential deal to get Butters over to Carlton. As ridiculous as you might see that, look, man,
well,
it's possible. But I mean, I would love for Elijah to stay at Carlton. Obviously, he's an exceptional player. He loves to turn it up against Geelong, as you would know.
I do.
Yes. But unfortunately, sometimes, and we've been burnt famously with players with certain issues over the years, and sometimes you just have to let him go. And he does have a support network in South Australia, so it could be the best thing for the man at the end of the day.
Well, Geelong also, I think everybody's keen in Butters, but I also made another video on this. We've got three players playing in the VFL that have played some games for the AFL: George Stevens, Mitch Nevitt, and Stevens, I think. So they are trade bait for me. We could use them as trade bait. Mitch Nevitt played 9 minutes the last game against Richmond, for God's sake, which really annoyed the hell out of me.
I couldn't believe that. Was ridiculous, man. Against Richmond, especially there was because I follow the Hoops crew and all the goings on in there, and everyone was very, very excited to see Nevitt come back in and have another crack, but to let him go a bit cold, warm in the bench was a bit sad to see. But sorry to interrupt, but your point there was.
No, I completely agree. I thought that was just stupid. So Chris Scott just doesn't really rate these players. So I think we can use these players as trade bait to get a big fish, because I'm sure Geelong every year get a big fish. That's their motto. Every year they get a big fish or big player.
Look, mate, you guys have had your heart set on Warple all year, and you're going to be stuck with him, all right? Just because the next flashy new toy has potentially come up. But I don't want to take two steps back in the conversation, but if you're talking about trade bait and throwing up all these stupid names for big names, outside of Shannon Neal, you got to throw up something else for Curnow, mate. I don't want to hear it.
Well, I get that, but everyone else is a required player, so it's pretty hard. Well, we got Jai Clark. So he's been in and out of our team. So Port want role players. They've delisted about 100 blokes, including their footy department today, Chris Davies.
Funny that, Lucas. Funny that.
Yeah, funny that. Yeah. I think Mr. Carr might have had something to do with that. But they want role players, so we happily give our VFL team to them for Butters. That'd be pretty nice.
Yeah, great deal for Port. Yeah.
Well,
I love the Geelong level trade offers.
We'll
give you 3 first rounders. I mean, it'll be number 19, 20, 21, you know. Yeah, they're still technically first rounders, but we pay our fair share at Cardinia Park. But
not in Geelong. We've got the arrogancy to trade what we want and we'll get the player. That's how we roll, Scott. That's how we roll. We get the big agents, Jeremy Cameron, Bailey Smith. We have a history with your club getting star players. Zach Turi, Jack Martin. Jack Martin and Zach Turi weren't as probably popular as Charlie Curnow is then compared to now. But we got it from Carlton. We got a good deal with them where we got Jack Martin for absolutely free.
It's funny. Well, while we're still on Carlton and you do bring up Jack Martin, I want to provide a bit of context as far as like our end of year list management goes over the last few years. So since 22, and we did start to see a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. At the end of 22, we got rid of like your proper, what people say is like list cloggers, like your Plowmans, your Lockie O'Briens and all that. And then we started to bring in some players to replace them. And then that was the end of 23 that happened. End of 24, it was the blokes that we just couldn't get out in the park, who were fantastic players in and of themselves, but just couldn't stay out there. The likes of Caleb Marchbank, Jack Martin, and who was the other one? David Cunningham. All brilliant footballers and really had the potential there. And on their day, were just fantastic players to have at the club, but their bodies failed them. And it's only Jack Martin who, and because he's gone to a club like Geelong, has been managed correctly and has kind of been able to pursue his alternative kind of medicals and all that up in Queensland. He can more freely go about things that way. And he's played correctly at Geelong, where we're the only team that really just out of his 3 clubs only played him predominantly in the forward line, whereas you played him to his strengths and brought him in only as required.
Yeah, well, Jack Martin's keeping my boy Ollie Henry out of the team, though, so I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Ollie Henry is keeping Ollie Henry out of the team. But then also, just to cap that, now this year, it's not necessarily we're getting rid of players we need to get rid of. The free agents that have left, namely Silvani and TDK, as well as Lemmy, Chincotta, and Fantasia, who were also, outside of Lemmy, arguments on Fantasia, but definitely Chincotta were quality players. These are not necessarily like we have to get rid of them, but it's no secret there's culture problems at Carlton. And namely with TDK and Silvani, not that necessarily TDK was a culture problem, but the whole way that his contract probably disrupted things throughout this year certainly didn't help. And a personality like Silvani, as much as it is a legendary name within the club, personality-wise, allegedly didn't quite get along with the group. And potentially, Curnow as well, the way that he goes about things could disrupt things. So it's a bit of a cultural refresh within the club, which I think, and just like every other year, when all these names get brought up a year later, you don't even think about it. The likes of Matt Owies, Matt Kennedy, for the first half of the year, everyone's still sooking about, but look, is anybody still crying about Matt Kennedy not being at the club? No. And the most important thing is that thing there, the monogram, will always be there. Players are just temporary. And hello to Berkey. Now, fuck off your hoops, bro. Hello to Berkey. Absolute son of a gun. Love you, Berkey, bro.
I'll flirt with this one a little bit, though we have to be careful. But if you don't like Shannon Neal, we could always throw Tanner Buren in there if you want.
Hey, look. I know Geelong is a criminal club and they're all criminals over there. But when there's an actual crim involved or alleged or somebody, no, thank you. No.
Oh,
and
okay.
No.
A question for you. This was from Shadu. Would Carlton renegotiate Curno's contract to something cheaper and a sooner end date to allow them to release money for the Sally Cup and then let him go after 1 and 2 years?
I mean, it's an interesting proposition, but no. He signed a 6-year contract that was front-ended, mind you, and now he's entering into the second half of that contract. And so his managers, they're not getting as high of a commission off of one of the biggest players in the AFL possible. So, no, there's no renegotiation there. No, you sign the dotted line, mate. I know people can be cynical and say these contracts mean nothing these days, but at least from my perspective, or at least from my club's perspective, you sign on, you're going to be there, mate.
Indeed. Just little one on Carlton before we preview the finals. I'm surprised there was no interest for TDK for Geelong, because we could have done a straight talk with his brother with Sam De Koning.
You blokes are crapping on about that all year. But look, obviously the Saints were first in and best dressed with the stupidest offer possible. I mean, not enough is said about the level, like the amount of, I mean, of course, the amount of money is mentioned, but now the length as well. 8 years for the quality of player. I mean, I'd stand up for the bloke any day while he's at my club, but I'm still realistic as anybody. Like, he's had patches of brilliant gameplay, but he's not put together a full half a season, let alone a full season at that form. And that the level of overs, like, what St Kilda is doing between him, Naz, Flying Ryan, potentially Jack Silvani, it boggles the mind. I mean, surely any of the Geelong supporters in the chat would be turning in their own filth, considering something like that. But hey, look, Carlton, we collect brothers as well, all right? You're not the only ones that do that. But the only thing, our brothers, they end up, let's not relitigate that. But, no, I'm sure, like, I mean, even, Tom De Koning would have been a need for you fellas, but no, let's just give Reece one more year. But look, even then, this bullshit with Tom De Koning, I know now you're all looking at Rowan Marshall as if not every other club in the league isn't. But you'd be stupid if you're not. But look, I'm sure at Geelong, TDK would have flourished. But from all reports, believe it or not, footy is not necessarily his love in life. Sure, he would love to win a flag, but I don't think that he's not the type of person that would do everything possible to achieve that ultimate goal. I'm sure he'd just be happy to collect his paycheck and go surfing.
Well, I can't wait when all the St Kilda players turn up in their Corollas, and there's Sam De Koning and Wayne Delira turning up in Ferraris.
To be a St Kilda player who has stuck with a club like St Kilda for all their careers, and to see these blokes walk in on this level of money and to not be rewarded yourself, that's yeah, there's going to be serious issues. Like, not that there weren't always serious issues at that club, but this kind of money ball is not the way to go forward.
Mm. Well, I'm sure Ross the boss will sort it out. If there's one thing you can do, sort it.
That as well. Allegedly, one of the greatest modern day coaches. I can understand how even he would let this fly, unless he knows he's fucking off soon and doesn't have to deal with it.
Yeah, well, he plays his grand final every time he plays us, doesn't he? Especially under Marvel, which annoys the hell out of me. But
yeah,
anyway,
it's so unfair that you guys have to play St Kilda at Marvel.
It's just who else are we going to play? We're not playing you guys there at Geelong. We're not playing Collingwood. We're not playing Hawthorn. Who the hell's left?
As I always say, you want to play the big boys, mate. You got to come to the loud house, all right? We got to pay your bills, all right?
Yeah, fair enough. On to enough Carlton talk. On to the finals preview. Thursday night football. Adelaide versus Collingwood at Adelaide Oval. For me, Scotty, I think Crows will win this very well. I think they'll win by 40, 50 points. I think they'll tear up Collingwood. Now, there's been weaknesses in Adelaide's play where if you put pressure onto them, they'll crumble. But there's no one that's done that for 4 quarters. Geelong's the only team that, not to be arrogant here, Scott, but Geelong's the only team that has bet Adelaide at Adelaide Oval. You know, they applied pressure of football for 4 quarters. Hawthorn did that for 1 quarter. We saw West Coast do that when they went over there. North did that a couple of weeks ago, but you need to play 4 quarters against the Crows team with pressure and tackling. And I don't think Collingwood will do that. I think this will be very different compared to last game.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, Lucas. This is going to be an absolute belting. This is not going to be anything like the last game where, not that both. Collingwood definitely was not taking the game on. They were only playing not to lose. The conditions obviously played a massive role in that. But look, and Adelaide, they only needed to win, really. And yeah, it's at the tail end of the season. It's not a first week of finals type of situation then. No, Adelaide, look, the only real criticism in this context is, yes, their team does not have finals experience for the most part. But look, you could, if they were playing this at the G, that would probably have a bit more weight to it. But at their home ground in that cauldron, mate, it is going to be an absolute barn burner. And look, not having Rochelle there, obviously not having Rochelle there. I meant Rankine. Not having Rankine there, look, that'll be big. Look, he's a potential Norm Smith medalist, but he's only got himself to blame there. But they've got more than enough to cover that loss. And look, at the start of the year, you'd say, when we played them at the start of the year, we were all saying, look, their backline requires name tags. But that has become as big of a strength as their forward line, which is what they were really getting all their credit for most of the season. But it's been a revelation, their backline. And what can the Pies do, man? They've been on the biggest slide. And if it wasn't for fucking Brisbane and Gold Coast in that last fortnight, they probably would have missed the 8. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And Jeremy Howe down again. Frampton and Moore are just not who you want to see back there up against the 3 towers, mate. And look, their midfield have proven they can step it up with anybody, and especially against Collingwood. And this would be one of the greatest hate watches of all time for me on Thursday night. I'm going to be watching it with one hand, just watching the pride of South Australia. Just give it to him, mate. And this will definitely set the tone, not just for the week, but for the entire final series, mate. Because they're going to look. I reckon it's going to be 10 goals, mate, minimum. I'm going out there 10 goals. And they are just going to wait and see who they have to come up against in the prelim. And They're just going to be chilling, mate. They're going to have to come back home, and they play decent at the G, so I don't think they'll be too worried about that final week in September, mate.
No, I don't think even Port Adelaide. We played Port Adelaide last year. In the qualifying final, they blew it big time. Port Adelaide.
Oh yeah. They spent all their tickets against Hawthorn the week before.
I don't see they could probably. I see them probably more losing the prelim than I do this game. But I don't think they'll bottle this game. I just don't think it will happen with all their fans. They're not Port Adelaide. I just don't see. Yes, they're less experienced with finals, but like I said, you've got to play 4 quarters of pressure football, tackling football. I don't think Collingwood can do that. They did it for 1. They were successful, but they can't do it for 4.
Yeah, And what's happened with the Collingwood Football Club is pretty much what everyone was saying at the start of the year. This is what with getting Houston, keeping such an aged list as well. Everyone knew, look, they've got plenty of experience and some great talent on the field, but it's only going to last for so long. And what was initially expert management of these seasoned bodies quickly turned into inconsistency among the list and perpetual injuries, mate. And some of the players that they would typically rely on in a final series like this, like Jordan De Goey, mate, it's just not going to happen. I just cannot see any possibility of them pulling this out unless they somehow just really brought the Crows down to their level similar to last time, but they were never in control of that game, to be honest. But if I don't know, if they were fucking playing 18 blokes behind the ball and just trying to make an absolute shit fest out of it and try and make it a low scoring affair, that's the only way they could see it be relatively close. But nah, look, mate, this isn't it. This is just not it. And
yeah, I completely agree. And I agree with this with Peter here. Josh Raw has been, I can't believe he didn't get All-Australian. How the hell did Jack still get All-Australian in that back line? That is an absolute joke.
Look, the All-Australian, mate. Look, I had a list of all the selectors. I was under the illusion, I guess, maybe I was a naive, that the All-Australian selection panel was, types like Lee Matthews, your Parkins, your Pagans, Sheedies and all that. But no, it's all media figures. Like it's Abby Holmes, it's Caden Corns, it's all these types that are on the All-Australian selection panel. Plus Laura Kane and Andrew Dillon. So no, it's a farce. I wouldn't even pay any attention to the All-Australian squad, to be fair. Plus your bloke got the fucking captaincy, which is probably one of the biggest jokes I've seen. Come on, bro. You cannot back that. You cannot back that.
Now, his leadership, Jeremy Cameron, has been fantastic over the years for Geelong.
When Jeremy Cameron comes to mind, it's his phenomenal leadership that.
Well, he's the general down the forward, isn't he? He sorts out all the forward lines. Get out of my way. Leave it to me. What better piece of advice is that? No, I do. Yeah, that was it's a bit like Hawkins when Hawkins was captain a few years ago. The All-Australian team. Very strange.
Or when Paddy Cripps won his first Brownlow and Toby Green was fucking All-Australian captain.
Yeah, well. That's the AFL for you.
To wrap that up though, Lucas, I think. Actually, this first week of finals, it couldn't be. Honestly, it's probably the best matchups possible, I feel, at the end of the day. And this will definitely set the tone for the rest of the week.
We'll move on from that game. Friday night, Geelong versus Brisbane. I'm worried. I'm worried
at the G, at the Loud House.
Yeah, I'm worried. Well, I call it the MCG Geelong fans, because they don't care about Geelong winning. They just want corporates. They just want to put the game at MCG. So I've been to war with that for weeks. If you want it in the best interest of the club, have it in Geelong. But these MCG fans don't want that. I'm nervous about this game, to be honest, because I don't know what you're going to get from Brisbane. They don't fear the G. They've won premierships there. I'm nervous about it. I'm very nervous about it.
Yeah, like I don't blame you, mate. I don't give much of a fuck about betting, but you are favorites with the odds by about 60 cents. Let's round it up to $1. Say you're $1 favorites. But look, I mean, on paper, you can make any case for the Cats, but that's the thing about the Lions, though, mate. On their day when they pull their finger out, like it's just they play a whole different game, mate. This will probably be the highest quality game of the week by far, I'd say. We all know what both teams bring. Geelong, they're the benchmark of the competition no matter what. But the Lions, man, they they're my premiership favourites, and they have every case to go back to back. As much as they've been dropping ones that they definitely shouldn't have this year, or seem like they don't give a fuck, but I think they know inside that when they show up, they're just confident in themselves, mate. Yeah, and yeah, like BB say, they do have the wood over you guys. Just lucky this is only the first week and not a prelim, mate.
They have bet us in the last 2 years in 3 different venues. The Gabba, Geelong.
I would say you've got a probably maybe not a better overall list, but your best 22 for this year, I'd say, is better than last year, or at least in what you've got available in the finals. I think you're definitely in a better spot in that regard. But yeah, Brisbane, they're just freaks, man.
The one for me that's a real danger that it always turns it up against Geelong is Cam Rayner. He might have the quietest of seasons, but every time he plays Geelong, he kicks 3, 4, 5 goals. He was crucial to their prelim win final last year. He kicked 3 goals early in the year against us in Geelong, where they absolutely belted us. He's one player that needs to be tagged for me. You just need to tag him. He damages Geelong too much.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, who's your tagger though?
We've got Oisin Mullin, we've got Connor O'Sullivan. Depends where he plays, because Rayner's a complicated, footballer. He pushes forward, he pushes midfield. Atkins probably can't go with him with his speed. Can't go with him when he goes 450. So that's a very, very tough one. Probably O'Sullivan when he goes back. Sorry, O'Connor when he goes back. Probably Oisin Mullin. Oisin Mullin has done a very good job tagging in the past. He did a great job on Dacos a few months ago. So maybe that. But Cam Rayner is a player. He doesn't need 30 touches. He can get 15 touches, kick 3 goals.
Yeah, one of the most damaging players in the game at the moment. But with a player of that caliber, kind of like if you were to tag a play like a Nick Dacos, you don't just whip out O'Sheen and just say go run with him, mate. It's a team tag, and to Geelong's credit, they're capable of that mission. It's just whether they can hold him back for. I mean, you can hold him back for 4 quarters. He only needs 4 touches.
Yeah. Be like your Bobby Hills and Rankins. They don't need.
Not to go back to the last game, but fuck, man, Bobby Hill, whatever's going on in his life, man, he has seriously let them down because he's literally a Norm Smith medalist, man. We know what he's capable of, but to get back into this game though, I mean, what we just haven't. There was something. Yeah, Shad said, Harris Andrews, man. Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
That is a scary proposition. I mean, but look, this could be Neil's chance, man. He's stepped up in a lot of crucial games this year. And he certainly he can cut the mustard, man. This is the mission. This is the ultimate mission for him. I think this is where the boy could really become the man here.
I agree with that. In their last prelim final when they met, he just destroyed Neil. Neil was a better player. 1 year from now, like 1 year ago, Neil was a much better player. But Andrews is still a very good defender, one of the best. So it will show me how much has he learned from that. If Shannon Neil has a bad game, has a bad finals, maybe that can determine if we get Charlie Kerner or not. Like if Neil kicks 15 goals in 3 games, we could say,
all right. Let's not. Okay, no, I want Neil to have the best final series possible, so he can fucking forget about Kerno. All right, you've got a more than capable key position for there, mate. Like, don't you stress, mate. Don't you stress.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If he can kind of look, if he's up to the task, he can almost negate Andrews in his own way. So,
yeah, I've been there.
Scouted to kick 100 goals this season, mate. What about him? All right, he's got to pull his fingers. He's got to pull his finger out too.
He's been not at his best the last 3 games, mind you. When he gets double tagged, but no, his finals in that Brisbane game last year, he was very poor, Cameron. It was actually quite amazing. It was Ollie Henry that kicked 4 goals. He's not playing in this game.
Yes.
So
yes. I remember that famous photograph of him. Yeah, when he's that was from Myers. Yeah, the Messi kick to Ollie Henry. Yep. Yeah, that was such a great game to watch, and not just because you guys lost, but that was just what the Lions did against. Yeah, because they did the same against GWS and then Geelong too. Man, that was crazy.
And then Sydney turned up.
Yeah, look, I'm sorry to do it to you, mate. I'm picking the Lions here.
Yeah,
but look, it's going to be a cracker of a game. Plus, Holmes, he's healthy for now. Let's see. The second he touches that first blade of grass on the G in a final series, his hammy might come completely off the bone or disintegrate. But I don't want to jinx anything. But it was that we really don't want you to bring back the Max Holmes bench clock in this game.
I'll tell you what.
If there was one to make an impact in this game, mate, between him and Bailey, yeah, let's see. We've seen the proof of concept all year, mate. Let's see it. Let's see it in finals.
Touch wood on this to happen, but if there's a potential injury to anyone, if Chris Scott takes 10 minutes to make a decision, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to absolutely lose my mind. So make a decision, get someone off, get them on, make it quick. This is a hard overhead situation for me. My heart says Geelong. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
This is a win at all cost game, Lucas. Yeah. And you win this, you get that extra week just to resettle and sort out I'm not knock on wood, Lucas, knock on wood, any potential injury woes or whatever. But I'm so looking forward to this game. It's going to be an absolute cracker.
We move on. The third game. Now, you said that Geelong and Brisbane would be the most entertaining game. I think this game will be, because you don't know what you're going to get. GWS versus Hawthorn in Sydney on a Saturday.
Yep, at Energy Stadium, mind you.
not the Sydney Cricket Ground, Energy Stadium. I don't know what you're going to get with these two teams, because sometimes Hawthorn look good, GWS look good, GWS look bad, Hawthorn look bad. I don't know what you're going to get from these two teams, which I think if both play to their capabilities, this is going to be an outstanding game, but they could turn into a snooze fest. You don't know what you'll get with these teams.
No, couldn't agree with you more there, Lucas. My big call at the start of the year was that the Giants would miss finals. And it was almost looking good there for a while. They've just been so untrustworthy this year. I know they lost a few key pieces, or they've had a couple of injuries throughout the year, but they certainly dropped a lot that they shouldn't have. But look, they'll just always be a solid top 8 team. Last couple of years, they've proven they can almost make it, but look, we'll see. And yeah, Hawks, they're also, they're definitely not lived up to the hype. They're nowhere near a top 4 team. They are a solid top 8 side. They've still got a lot to work out themselves. I'm I'm gonna, as much as I just talk shit about the Giants, I'd back them in here. But look, I would not be surprised at all if the Hawks just come out firing and just manage to hold a lead.
You summed it up perfectly. Hawthorn, over the last 4 weeks, they've shown glimpses against the Crows. They've shown glimpses against Brisbane in that first quarter, but they can only play, like I said, against Collingwood. They've only played one good quarter against these top 4 teams. It's so hard. But if they can play
the Giants too, sorry to cut you off, but the Giants, they have considerably more finals experience. The Hawks list, like a lot of them are still finals players, and then they have the older heads there. But look, they played against the Dogs last year, who really were never in it. Port Adelaide, who they lost against Port, but they took it to the wire almost. Port pulled out right in the fourth. Yeah, no, I remember that. But yeah, look, they won one final. Giants, they don't have the second chance, and they are they're far more of a fucking win at all costs, do or die side, especially with Toby Green in there, mate. Like,
well, he basically carried him against St Kilda.
St Kilda, yeah.
Very interesting stat that Kerry's brought up, 0-8 at Energy Stadium. That I didn't know that. That actually surprises me a little bit.
Yep. And look, I mean, they've been playing with this, 4 talls? Is it 3 or 4 talls they've been playing with? I mean,
Lewis, Deer,
It's kind like, obviously they want to fit, take as much pressure off of Gunston just so he doesn't have to kill himself he's their best forward by far, but kind of relieve as much pressure off him as possible. Chol, I thought that he'd be dropped by about round 6 or 8 this year. He did get dropped at one point, but they brought him back now. I think they're trying their best to keep Chol in the side just because of what he offers around the ground and in the ruck. But pardon me. I don't know. I can't make the case for them. And the Giants are not afraid to just belt them around, like to kind of play them at their own game, to be a little dirty, play outside the rules a bit, or bend the rules. They're not afraid to do such things or to throw their weight around as well. And I think that the Hawks are just still a bit too young and inexperienced. But it'll be the Giants for me.
Can't win finals with the old man Gunston as your full forward, the self-proclaimed wizard, the TikTok superstar Joel. Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I would like them. Look, if Giants absolutely demolish them, look, CJ, he's a good player. He'd be handy to have it in a few sides, I think. CJ
is a good player. Yeah, very good player. Pretty much the important ball moving off halfback. CJ.
Yeah.
At times.
And potentially looking elsewhere. He would prefer to have a bit more game time, is what I've heard.
Yeah. The last. My tip. GW again. I wouldn't be surprised if Hawthorn won. I'll pick Giants because it's in Giants. The last game for me, it is Fremantle Dockers versus the Flat Track Suns, because that's all they can do is win outside of far north Australia, Darwin/Queensland. So I call them the Flat Track Suns. Again, this could be 50-50. You don't know what these teams are going to bring. Every time you pick Freo, they lose. Every time you pick against them, they win. Their form is so up and down with these two clubs. It's almost impossible to pick.
Well, the best form that you could really go off for the Dockers is that they've pretty much beaten all the other top 8 sides. Gold Coast can't say the same. Look, the year that Gold Coast had, as much as they still have their deficiencies, is kind of where they've been, a bit like Adelaide. It's kind of where they should have been for how many years now, or at least the last couple of years. But this is kind of like every other game. This is kind of like the best matchup, really, for where both teams are at, what they're trying to prove, and kind of the caliber of team they are as well. It's a bit of a shame that the Suns have found themselves in this position, because they could have easily made top 4. But as as much as what you just said about the Dockers, about what they might bring, the Gold Coast are in the very esteemed club of teams that have lost to Richmond this year as well. So,
True. Yeah.
Look, it's being played over in Perth. Unfortunately, it's just going to be Freo, mate. They are hitting that They are hitting it. They have hit that form at the tail end of the year. They have kind of had those finals caliber games in the tail end of this year where they have come out on top. And but then I just remembered that Brisbane game. I know it's what you mean. It's what you mean. I mean, they can play some of the highest caliber of footy you can see, and then just fucking have the absolute turd of a game like the week after. Man, that Brisbane game, far out. I won't tell you what I was doing that night, but like even like that, that was fucked, man. Oh fuck! Yeah. But no. I still have to go with Freo here. My opinion on Freo, right, is that they're so overhyped, but they do give you that glimmer where they kind of prove it. But look, they're going to win this game. I don't believe in ladder predictors, so even the finals predictors, like fuck that. I'm not entirely sure who they could potentially go up against, but
they play the winner of that game will play the loser of Geelong and Brisbane.
Nah, right, okay, yep. So you'll be in the prelim, mate. So don't stress, bro. Don't stress. You'll be fine.
Do lose that game, God forbid, if we play Gold Coast in that semi and it's not in bloody Geelong, I'm going to absolutely throw the tantrum.
No. Actually, for all the Geelong supporters in the chat, I would love to see Fremantle and a final at Cardinia Park against Fremantle and Geelong. Now that you mention it, I think that would be the best for everyone. But
play that at the G, but we can play Gold Coast in Geelong. No objections to that one.
Yeah. Gold Coast, fuck's sake, man. Yeah, Freo. I feel like it could be quite the margin, unfortunately. Yeah.
Gold Coast could win by 50. Freo could win by 50. I'll pick Freo because it's in Perth, but again, I wouldn't be surprised. It could be an absolute stinker of a game.
I want Freo to absolutely bend them inside and out, upside and down. So the Suns freak out a bit and they're like, nah, we need Curnow. All right, fuck. What are we giving them? All right, take Reed, not Flanders. Oh, he's a good Warrigal boy, but no, Anderson. I think that would. Yeah, names like that. Then they could probably get a bit of a fright and offer something a bit more serious for our boy. But
loved how you didn't mention Roy Rao. Just leave him for Geelong.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's one Suns name that's always bandied about Carlton every offseason is Roses Jr.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Like, I mean, do you like? Are you aware of him, Malcolm Roses Jr.?
I've got no idea who he is. So apologies, don't hear him up front. I've got no idea.
Bloke plays VFL fucking 90% of the year, but apparently he's like the untouched small forward talent that we're desperate for the last 3 years. I don't know.
But if we're not into him, then he's not good enough to be at Geelong. So I don't know who he is. So I've got that's arrogancy 101 right there from me. But I've got no idea who he is. So
look, Lucas, look, and I'll say this. I'll take the piss. I'll give you guys a bit of banter, but I will say the Geelong arrogance. It's earned. It's deserved. All right, because my club used to be in that position, and I'd be arrogant as fuck too. So.
Well, since the year 2000, no one's more premierships than us, and Hawthorn, we share the same thing.
since the year 2000, and there was eight teams in the finals, and since the Chris Scott era, we've probably been the most successful club of all time. Yeah.
Oh, well, no, I've got my opinions on Chris Scott. If he loses another,
very good opinions on Chris Scott.
Yeah, well, if he loses another prelim, that's his 7th prelim he's lost, and I don't think I can handle that anymore. I think
my opinions on Chris Scott. Look, if you guys have another prelim loss, maybe he might need a year off to search for greener pastures. I might start my next year 0-4 again. And we might be looking for someone new, but that's a discussion for another day.
Absolutely. We're coming on to an hour. I like this show's ending under an hour. But before you go, any final thoughts about this final series, or any other thoughts in the media? Anything that caught your eye during the week?
Let me think. What would Scotty do differently? What would I do?
Tag Cam Rayner. That would be nice if you can tag him. That would be good.
A team tag. But then, Lucas, look, think about Brisbane. You can't just take one player out, because then McCluggage will get off the chain. Look, Lachie Neale's coming back.
Oh, but Neale always gets 30 against us anyway, so I'll concede defeat with that one. But if I see Rayner kick 4 or 5 goals in this qualifying final, I'm gonna lose my mind. Absolutely lose it. But no, back to you. Like, any final thoughts? Anything that caught your eye? It doesn't have to be Carlton related. Could be anything. Could be any other sport. Anything around the world.
I was thinking this afternoon about like a general topic, but it's completely blown my mind. And I didn't. Oh, did I put it in my notes? Let me just see. Oh no, that's for something else. That was just Neil Bullen saying how he's told his players they haven't proven anything. They haven't won anything yet. They haven't proven anything yet. That's the mindset they got to have. So I like that, and that's why you get premiership players at your club. Carlton and Essendon are the only teams in the entire AFL that do not have a premiership player on their list. That's like, for a team that's
mind-blowing.
On the cusp, for a team that's on the cusp, man, without that, even like what my mates at the Jumper Punch say, and people roll their eyes or flip their lid when they hear this, but even a player like Camden McIntosh, he won 2 out of Richmond's 3. He knows what it takes, and he's a mature mind, a mature body. That's the type of leader that you want at your club for the developing players, not necessarily to, get 30, kick 4 goals and all that. They're the ones that instill those values and those standards in your developing players. That's why, I know Mitch Duncan's retired, but would you blame anyone for looking at him for 1 or 2 years?
No, Kiri just said that. Sorry, Shadoos just said that. Would you take Mitch Duncan as the assistant coach to build that culture?
Absolutely. He's a champion in his own right. He has very high standards, not only for himself but for his own team. That is somebody that I would love at Carlton. And look, even Nick Haynes. He hasn't won a premiership. He played in a premiership, but coming from a club like GWS, who has such high standards for such a relatively young club as well, what he's brought to our developing backline players has just been incredible in the year that he's been here. Our club's full of losers. All they've done is lose all their careers. Even just a leader like Haynes, what he's done for Carroll, Cow, and O'Farrell, like, it's leaps and bounds, man. Leaps and bounds. Oh yeah, I'd take Blitzarves in a heartbeat, bro. Of course.
Hang on. Well, of course, but you're not going to have him.
Look, this is why, and everyone that's watching, if you're not aware of a channel, it's My Blue Heaven. Heath Buck, obviously Carlton, but he used to play Carlton reserves back in the day, blah, blah, blah. He's a fantastic analyst and commentator when it comes to the Blues, but more like he has a good eye for talent, especially like young players like coming through the draft or the Coates Talent League. And he's been on Francis Evans ever since he walked in. He's always backed him, and I might be his number 2 fan at the moment, but he's definitely his number 1. And you know why, Lucas?
Why is that, Scotty? Good old Frank the Tank.
Because he was drafted by Geelong, who would obviously have recognised a serious talent there. Otherwise, they wouldn't have picked him up. As you know, you only pick winners. But he spent those first few years of his development at a serious club with elite standards. And look, he's brought that in. He had a rough start to the year, but he's built on that, and he's played to some of his career best games at our club in the last month. So
to that credit, he's played it outstanding the last 4 weeks of the season, very, very well.
Incredible. Yeah, I would take anyone if they've won a flag. Outside of Mason Cox, I would take anyone.
I don't blame you. Like we're looking for a ruckman, but we're not that desperate. But anyway, Scotty, thank you so much for joining me today. Do appreciate it. Covered all the finals, bit of Carlton, bit of Geelong. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much again for having me, Lucas. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for everybody in the chat for watching. Please, if you haven't already, like the stream. It costs you nothing. It does so much for Lucas and his growing channel. The Geelong Zone, I'm honestly impressed with what Lucas has been able to put out there. Sometimes I think I'm a bit of a clown, and like Lucas likes to call himself a bit of a clown too. But no, he's a serious man, and he has serious footy knowledge. And I like to consider him a good friend. And do everything you can to get the word out about the Geelong Zone and Coach Lucas. Look, you can find me on the Jumper Punch every now and then, usually on Wednesday nights on Forever Rivals 7:30. I think the main show on Tuesday nights, the Jumper Punch. I think they're doing one final show tomorrow night. Forever Rivals will be carrying on throughout the final series, as well as our Sunday show, Blue Sunday, with Bangkok Joe, Vince Lochasano, David Rees-Jones, and big Seba, Michael Sebastiani. So that's right.
Hang on. Don't forget Liam. He's
Liam on Forever Rivals, mate. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So Forever Rivals with Magpie Manny when he feels like fucking showing up. Mark when he fucking feels like showing up. Liam's there every single week. Rocco's there every single week. I'm there whenever they need a chop out. But please, Forever Rivals, it's a show for everyone. It's not just for Carlton. And over the final series, we'll be doing a lot of call-ins, and we appreciate everybody's input and opinions. When it comes to, or especially none of our fucking teams are in finals, so we would love to see some Geelong opinions, and for anyone to call in. And yes, we do cover a few of the general footy topics, and look, they're a bit rough around the edges with a few of their opinions. They might not be in everybody's corner, but we appreciate what everybody says. I've received some very valuable input from the likes of Shadu and Jackie in that. Please, I appreciate that. There's never any intent to upset anybody when we cover these topics. But look, if you have a differing opinion, please feel free to share it in the chat, because believe it or not, it is a complete free speech zone, and we value everybody's opinions. Yep. And we like to keep an open chat and open views here. As much as we like to say our opinions on things, we honestly do value everybody else's opinions as well. And we don't want that to scare off anybody or for anyone to shy away, because I think it's a great show. And sorry. Yeah, nah.
No, I do. I listen to it. I've been on your show a couple of times, and I completely agree. It's for everybody. You're not going to like some opinions, but that's life. Your best mate, sometimes their opinions you don't agree with, even though if they're your best mate or family members. Like my mum, for example, don't necessarily agree with anything she says, especially when it comes on the LA Crows. But we live and learn. And yeah, good luck to me when they play in the grand final. That's going to be very interesting indeed.
Yeah, and there are some topics you obviously have to handle with a bit more care, and sometimes things fly off the handle a bit. But I value everybody's input, and I've learned a lot over the last couple of weeks from everybody's input on that show. And my actual final question is: will we see Coach Mum on a potential post-game live if it ever came down to Geelong and Adelaide?
I don't think I want that. I'm at this point, Scotty, where if Geelong lose, it's okay. Well, not if we play against the Crows. We all want them to win by 100 points. But if they lose before meeting the Crows, that's okay. I'm at that point now because I have to live with her. I'll answer this quick question. She says Adelaide by 100. So what do you expect?
Your mum, believe it or not, Coach Mum, she knows footy.
Yeah, she's been on post game. She's been on the Hoops Crew post game live. Problem is that she is very opinionated. I did want her to come on when we did it a couple of weeks ago, but no, she's very opinionated. I'm just starting this channel, and I don't want to be cancelled in my first 2 minutes. Even though I probably will agree with what she says, but we have to be careful what we say and whatnot, and we don't want to be branded as something. I don't want to be branded as something. But no, all what you just said about the Forever Rivals Jumper Punch will be the link will be in the description below. Please check them out. Please like and subscribe. Scotty's link will be in the description as well for his Twitter. Go add him. I've been trying. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'll tell you about that later.
Go on. I was going to say I've been trying. I've been in contact with Bo from the Jumper Punch.
Good man.
Yeah, good man, Bo. He's a very busy man, but that's okay. I said to him, whenever you free next, come on my show. I'd love to have you. Loves his WWE. I can't wait to talk to him about that if he is watching. But no, I always love it when guests come on my show. I try to let them control it, let them try to take over. Because the least you can do is be respectful to your guests. But no, Scotty, again, thank you so much for coming by. I really do appreciate it. And to everybody out there, make sure to like and subscribe, and goodbye for now.